and I would like to say
Bro, what?
And it talks about how Jesus is forming sparrows out of clay, and by Allah's will, they come to life and fly off. And also that he's speaking from the cradle. Now,
Right.
the interesting thing is when we look at Islam, and all of the time when you guys are trying to defend the position that these are the original Muslims, well, we know what their texts are. And the texts aren't describing
you
Islam.
don't.
And in fact, their texts are utterly opposing
not.
Islam because we know of the belief. Because we.
Can I just
Leafy,
can
let
I
me
just help
finish.
you?
No,
No, I already know what you're gonna say,
just
so
let me.
there's no point. Like, let me
No,
just help
Pete,
you
there's
out
plenty of
before
people
you.
in the room.
Yeah, AdJ, it's unfair that you want to go on a rant for 2 minutes and
Okay,
don't
I'll be
want
quiet
people to
again.
respond. I mean,
No. I understand your point. You're trying to say that look, we know what these early supposed Muslims believe. It's not what you believe now. Therefore, clearly they couldn't have been Muslims. I already know this is your argument. This is what you're trying to get at. But what you're not understanding is the sources. First of all, uh, just because there is a semblance of like the story of clay, it just means that it came from a tradition that was later written down, right? Which we would say had its roots in the original teachings of Jesus Christ. It could be lost over time, or it didn't make it into what you would call the canon. That doesn't mean that it doesn't go back to Jesus, right? Just because you think it comes from Gnostic sects or from people who are later deemed heretics, right? Now, that's the first point. The second point is just a general point that your own scholar, so I'm quoting from N.T. Wright, The New Testament and the People of God, page 359. Early Christianity from the start was a many-sided movement, and he goes on to stress the importance that it was not just one movement. There was many different types of Christianities, and Bart Ehrman also makes the same point. So do many other scholars. Now, in terms of the point I was trying to get to you before, which you didn't really acknowledge, you didn't really understand why the argument from silence is fallacious. An argument from silence is only valid when we expect there to be, when we don't expect there to be a silence, right? So for example, we would expect that if Matthew, when he says that everyone resurrected and walked the streets of Jerusalem, we would expect that if this really happened, other people would have written it down. Who or would have at least mentioned it. Any other source, like not just within the Gospels, but outside of the Gospels as well. Like we would expect it to be in Josephus, Tacitus, anyone, because it says they resurrected and they appeared to many. The fact that he didn't, or the fact that no one else notices this, is what's called a deafening silence. And because there's a deafening silence, where we would expect, we have a reasonable expectation that other people would have talked about this, and yet they didn't, right? Then we have a strong argument. That argument from silence is valid. Your argument from silence is invalid because we have no reason to expect that these people, that their beliefs are being, one, accurately represented, or two, have been preserved accurately. So that's why your argument from silence is fallacious, and you still haven't responded to that. So I'll let you respond to the points that I made.
It's not an argument from silence, my friend. Like as I said to
It's
you,
an
we have an
argument from
indication of
silence.
where these. Okay,
You said it was an argument. No. Wait. Everyone heard you. Wait. Everyone heard you before say it was an argument from silence, and it
It's right,
wasn't
man.
valid.
You just overtalk.
Now you're
Okay.
saying it. Now you're saying it wasn't an argument from silence. I just want to make
I
it clear
never
that you're
said
changing what you said.
that's not what I said, Leafy. But you continue to
Okay, wait,
dominate the
hold up.
conversation.
No. I'm not dominating the conversation. I'm just pinning you down on what you said. You said that it was an argument from silence and that it was valid. Then I explained to you how it's invalid. Now you're saying it was never an argument from silence.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best way to just address it.
Yeah, all right. I mean, you can just concede or you can just be quiet. It's your choice, but it just shows that
Hey,
you can't defend your claims.
I can defend the claims, but if you're going to overtalk, it's no point me trying to do that.
Bro, I was literally quiet waiting for you to respond. You just don't want to respond. Like, this is just meta now. Like, you can either respond to the point or you can put your tail behind between your legs and run away. Like, it's your choice.
yeah, but the way AdJ, I have a question though. Can I ask you?
Now, the reason why we know that these things were isolated in Alexandria is the same reasons for Saint Irenaeus' arguments. Now, assuming that you've actually gone through against heresies and actually read the book and the motivations behind Irenaeus and one of his main arguments, he actually asks, where do you get this teaching from? Who taught you this? So he's a third generation Christian. So he was taught by Polycarp, he was taught by John, right? So we have 3 generations within the mix here. So he's appealing to people that are obviously second, third, fourth generation Christians. And in that time, people are starting to embellish the story, right? Nothing new is under the sun. So what he's doing is saying, well, who gave you this teaching? Where does it come from? And when Cerinthius was giving the teaching, that's how they find out, well, it derived in him or it derived in Valentinius. It doesn't derive in one of the apostles or the inner circle that actually knew Jesus. So the issue is that you've actually got people within the inner circle that we're aware of, that we know of, that are saying, no, these people are wrong and what they're teaching is wrong. So that's why we know, and when we have a look through history, all of the manuscripts from the Gnostic Gospels are located to one particular area. That's where we would expect
Okay,
to find them.
okay,
Guess
so,
what?
yeah,
That's where
right,
we found them.
correct. That's correct. That's correct. Right now, if we find, let's say tomorrow we wake up and we find a manuscript from the Gnostics in somewhere other than Alexandria, what would you do then?
Depends on what it is, man. You can't just go along and
No,
jump
no,
to assumption. Okay, leafy. So just recently, everyone's been talking about this little silver bit of transcript, I think, which has got John's Gospel has something, but it's a little bit of silver which rolled out. It says something within the Gospel, right? Announces the divinity of Christ. It was found north of the Alps. They're dating it somewhere to 200 AD. You should see how many Christians are jumping to assumptions of what this means. No one really has an idea what it means. Like, you have to wait. They have to get textual criticism. Textual analysis to get onto it. First of all, to make sure that it's a real thing. All right. It could just be that the silver itself is from the 2nd century, but what was imposed on it was from the 12th century. Am I going to jump the gun and say, "Oh, this is what it is"? No, I'm not a scholar, man. I wait till the scholarship comes out on it.
yeah, I'd
Usually
say
it
that's
takes
a
20
reasonable.
years. Usually it takes
No,
20
no,
to 30 years for that stuff to come out.
I understand. No, I understand. It's the same thing. Like when they found the Sonar palimpsest, they were like, "Oh my God, it's going to tell us new things about the Quran." And they started it, and then they were like, "Oh, like it confirms the Muslim narrative." It's the same thing. You don't jump the gun, right?
Yes.
But the issue here is you're making an argument from silence, and I don't think either implicitly and you're not aware of it,
It's
or
not an
explicitly
argument
and
for
you're just not
silence. It's
hiding
just the
from it.
fact that that's
It's an
where we would
argument
expect to
from
find them, and
silence.
that's where we
You're
found them.
no, no. Yeah, no, but you're saying that the absence of Alexandrian scripts, apart from this location, shows that they were only situated in this area, correct?
Nope. Yeah, that's where they all originated from. So we know
That, my
where they
friend, is an
originated.
argument from silence.
Leafy. We know where they've originated from. That we know where they've spread from. The fact that
Yeah,
we
I
have
understand
other
that.
man.
I'm not. I'm not disputing that.
Leafy, stop. You don't understand. Okay, I'm going to ask you. Do you know the relevance of P52 in this argument that I'm about to make? And if you don't, please be quiet.
Isn't it the earliest papyri?
Yeah. Okay. So why would I be bringing that up?
I don't know. You tell me. I'm waiting for you. I'm not going to
Thank you.
jump the
So be
gun.
quiet. Thank you. So be quiet. So is P52 in the original language of Jesus would have been speaking? No, it's not. It's in Coptic, but it's really early. Okay, so it's really early and it's in a different language, and the different language isn't that widely different to the original language. Okay, so what does that say? This thing is widespread early on, and guess what? That's what we see with the other manuscripts. Even when it doesn't come down to the whole collections of the entire compilation of the New Testament, even if it comes down to singular fragments of books, we see widespread attribution of it. That's the issue with your position is you're focusing to say that, okay, we know where these people came from. That's not a mystery. We know where their teachings got to. That's not a mystery. So where we would expect to find their gospels is this place, and this place. Guess what? That's well, we've found them. It would be surprising, yes, as you said, hypothetically, what about ism, if we found one 300 kilometers of north of the Alps, but we haven't. All of the evidence is suggesting, and all of the evidence for us to find these gospels would be in this area.
Okay, so I just want to ask you a question. Do you concede that the early Christian faith was never a monolithic phenomenon, and that all
Waalaikum.
kinds of theological, just wait one second, and that all kinds of theological streams were
Yes,
jostled together
yes,
in the earliest churches?
yes. Paul
All right,
talks
fine.
about
No,
this. He even no. So stop before you turn this into like this big thing. This is not this is a truism. Okay, nothing interesting, nothing new under the sun. So when you read the Book
I
of
didn't
Acts,
say
you
it
know
was
that
anything new. This has been known for like 30 years.
this has been no. This has been known for 2,000 years.
No, not 2,000 years. It's been known for like
My
like
friend,
50 years in scholarship.
no, my friend. This has been known for 2,000 years. Galatians chapter 2. Like the whole point of Paul is that you have these two entities running around spreading the gospel, but it's still one gospel.
Yeah, but we would
My
say
friend,
we trust the
my friend,
opposing view.
Paul Acts, the picture that you get when you read Paul Acts, which part of it is historical and part of it is ahistorical, right? Just like any other document, right? Is that there were some other sects, some other heretical beliefs, but for the main part, these were squashed, and for the most part, the Orthodox Church or what became Orthodoxy, right, were always the majority or were always like in power, right?
Yeah, there's always
After
been
the
different
persecution,
sects.
right.
There's
Exactly,
even the
right.
mention, Leafy. There's
okay.
even the mention of a group other than the apostles that run to Jesus and say, "Lord, Lord, we've seen some person doing miracles and casting out demons in your name." And Jesus says, "If they're not against us, they are with us."
Okay.
There's even
So would you
acknowledgement
agree?
there.
Okay, so would you agree that from the
Nothing
outset
new
there
under
were
the sun.
multiples? Okay. Would you agree that from the outset there were multiple strands of resurrection belief?
Yeah, that was, and that's why it came down to the significance of the Gospels and also with the early church writings.
Right, and
Now,
there was a big broad spectrum among the followers.
Leafy.
Bro, you don't
But
need to shout. You don't need to shout. I'm listening to you.
you need to listen, okay?
I am listening.
So, what we have is we have a diversity of opinion about an event, okay? What does that show
Yep.
to us?
So to us that it was an ambiguous event.
No, it doesn't mean it's an ambiguous event. It means that it wasn't centralized.
No, it means that there was ambiguity in what happened and how to interpret
No,
what happened.
no, Leafy. The argument, as Bart Ehrman would say, to say that Jesus Christ was not crucified would be going against the best attested fact about Jesus and his life. So
That's
when
not
you're
what I'm
making,
arguing.
but you're arguing based on an Islamic Quranic presupposition, which is you're going to take chapter 4, verse 157 as absolutely true and then try to work history around that, whether it's hostile,
No, but
friendly, or whether it's
But
hostile or friendly
we
to the
would prove the
situation.
belief. We would prove
no,
that
but
belief is
I'm justified. First of all, I'm justified in doing that from my worldview. And second of all, even if I throw the Quran aside, I still
If
wouldn't accept
circular
that Jesus
reasoning is a
Christ was
suitable
crucified.
justification, yes, but I
It's
don't
not
believe it is,
circular.
so no.
It's not circular. Okay, what's the circle that I believe in?
Okay, ready? So how do you know the Quran is true?
Because we have historical attestation, we have prophecies, we have inimitability, we have falsification tests. That's how I know it's true.
Historical adaptation of what?
Of the beliefs that it says, of the facts that it says,
How does that make the Quran true?
because we know it's historically reliable,
How does that make it true?
because it's saying things that are
Yeah,
true, that correspond to reality,
Such as?
yeah. Because wait, ADJ, he is
such
saying
as the
that.
reign of
Ahmed,
Ramses
shush.
II.
Sorry,
Okay,
Leafy?
no, it's important. It's important. Wait,
There's two of you
you're
talking.
you're
I
missing the
can't.
point. No, you're missing the point. You're saying
So
he is
Leafy's not good
saying
at
that the
explaining it?
Quran.
Okay.
No,
Ahmed's
wait.
more knowledgeable. Who
No, you're
knows?
missing. No, wait a second. Stop being petty, bro. So he's saying that the Quran gets things right which are impossible for a man in 7th century Arabia in a desert to know. For instance, Pharaoh claiming to be God, etc. Like this, that the Ishtar people in Ishtar in ancient Arabia in the time of Abraham, they worshipped Venus, sun, and moon. These are facts which were unknown to mankind until the Rosetta Stone was discovered, until the what was the temple? The temple of Ishtar was discovered. So this was impossible for a man in 7th century Arabia to know. So when we look at these things, then we can make the assertion that yeah, he had some supernatural experience. That's why he got where he got this information from.
We can give you this is two good examples.
Sorry, I'm not
Ahmed,
I'm not sold on the idea that because you don't
No, it
think he
doesn't
could
matter.
have gotten that information from somewhere else. It's
What
like
was
when we
it?
say
Was it him?
it's like when it's like when I've heard
Okay,
Muslims
okay.
say that the Quran confirms embryology, but then when we actually look throughout historical texts, it's actually very similar to that what Aristotle was teaching.
No,
And
it's
then
not. That's
even
not
if we want to
true.
grant that it's
That's
this
not true,
new thing,
bro.
it's still wrong anyway. So
ADJ.
Wait, guys. This is
Wait,
he's
just
digressing
a
from the
second.
point.
Just understand your
ADJ,
argument,
wait,
ADJ.
no, wait, guys. He's saying that
so it's
my
just that the
belief in the
Quran's
Quran.
true.
No, just wait 1 second, bro. You're saying my belief in the Quran being true is circular because I'm saying the Quran is true because the Quran is true. Now, I'm giving you external sources like history, like falsification tests, like prophecies, that inductively, when I put them all together, show me that it's more rational to believe that this book is from God than to believe that it's not from God. That's why I believe in the
All right,
Quran.
can
That's
we
why I
go
believe
through it
it's
then?
true.
So show me
Now,
one.
no, just wait. Would you concede that if that's my reasoning, that that's not circular? And would you retract that statement that I believe in circular reasoning?
Well, first we've
Or
got to
that my
test it
belief in the
first
Quran
before
is
we
based on
start.
circular reasoning.
I think it is
Before we
still
start
Even if
making
I'm
circular.
that
false,
silly claim.
no, even if it's false, even if all the prophecies are bullshit, even if all the historical facts are bullshit, even if
It just
the
still seems like
falsification test is
circular
bullshit.
reasoning.
No,
It would
bro, you're
still be
not
Can I tell you
circular
why,
reasoning because
Leafy? May I tell you why, please? Because if
it's not
all
circular reasoning.
okay, well then, how do you know these standards of judging the Quran are true to judge something which is divine?
How do I know that the
exactly.
standards themselves are true?
Yep.
Based on independent reason, using my mind, not based on the Quran.
What? So, man, So
No,
man
based on the
tells you whether
intellect.
God's book is true.
Myself, not any man. Me, my rational faculties.
So
that
your
go-
Okay,
intellect.
it's just here. Let me take a stab
That's
at it. So just
that's
take,
literally
take
No, Mojo. That's literally
so just no,
Gnosticism.
I'm on your side. I'm on your side.
I know,
Let's
Mojo. I know you're on my
let's
side,
just
but you don't
take
need to be
one of the
talking, man.
let's just
I
take
know
one of
you're on my
their
side. Thank you. I
wait,
appreciate it. But
ADJ,
you don't need to be
what tells
talking,
you?
man.
Hold on, just a
AJ
sec.
is
What
a big
tells
boy.
you a
He can
miracle
argue
is
Alright.
by
true?
himself.
So when
AJ
you're
is a big
making,
boy.
Let
He
me
can
so
just
argue
what
by
I need,
understand it.
himself.
Leafy,
No,
what I
no, I
need
just
you to
want to
look
understand his
into,
argument for a second.
what I need you to look
What tells you
into.
that an argument? What tells you that the miracle in front of you that's happening by Jesus? Let's say Jesus is in front of you, and a miracle happens in front of you by him. He heals a leopard person in front of you. What tells you that's actually true? Him
It
or your
doesn't.
brain interpreting it?
No. Listen. So you got the wrong idea. So Jesus even talks about this in John chapter 20, verse 29. I'll read it out to you. It's actually really, really profound.
Yeah, about
Um,
miracles
So
themselves not
you're
being
going
true.
against
We know.
circularity, but you're using your own book. Like this is
I'm just trying
well,
to.
he
You're not letting me.
critiqued Leafy. No, no,
I'm
no.
getting
Wait,
dog
wait.
collar at the
Whoa,
moment.
whoa. You critiqued Leafy, and you said you're making a circular, even though he showed you and he told you we can go through reasoning,
I
we
haven't even
can
started. You're
cross-check
just
with
judging.
external. Lahda, let me
This
talk. We can cross-check everything with external sources, and he mentioned like history books. They align perfectly with the Quran, and he told you about the Bible, and you're like, yeah, let's read the chapter. Like, and you talk about circularity.
yeah
Not
doesn't make
I
much
haven't
sense.
So
It's
this
even.
double
is.
standard.
Sorry.
Uh,
All
No,
due
by the way, there
respect.
are some.
All due respect, Snowflake. I didn't even get to the point, so you cut me off. I was actually going to appeal to 3 different sources, which would actually avoid circular reasoning.
Internal sources?
Let's.
Yeah,
They're
totally.
not
Yeah,
internal
that's not
sources.
circular.
No,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's not circular. Yeah, reading a verse, that's
Okay.
not circular.
All right.
Yeah. Allah yafik.
Okay. I know
So,
what that word
ADJ,
means. I know what that word means in Arabic
do you know
as
what it
well.
means? Do you know what
What
it
does it
means?
mean? What
What
does
does it
it
I'm pretty
mean?
mean?
What
sure it
does it
What
means
does
go
it
mean?
fuck
mean?
yourself. I'm pretty sure it means go
It
fuck
doesn't.
No,
yourself.
No,
no, no.
Bro, this is so dumb.
No, no,
Well, why would
you don't
no?
know
It
what it
doesn't
means.
mean that, AD.
You know what it
literally,
means.
God
Oh, what does it
killing me,
mean?
bro. It means
Allah
what?
Afik means. It means like thank
Like
you very
what?
much. Like it's a nice way of saying that, basically.
Yeah,
What does
basically.
what does
No, it
edific
says, "May
mean?
God heal
Like
you."
Yeah.
literally,
So it
word for
means,
word,
"May
it
God
means may
heal
God
you."
heal you.
Why
Yeah.
do
Literally,
my Lebanese
word for
friends
word.
why do my Lebanese friends say
Yeah.
edific? What's that?
Huh?
Yeah,
I don't even
that's
know
go fuck
what
yourself.
that.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. That's what I thought she
that's go
said.
fuck yourself. Yeah, no, that's not what she said, bro. But ADJ, so just to stick to the point, my friend. So I'm trying to explain to you. So let's say I believe in the Quran because I see that it concords with history, right? And let's say that the history that I believe that the Quran is conforming to is wrong. Like the history book itself is wrong, right? But I have this external source, and for whatever reason, I've seen that it's right on like XYZ issue, so I trust it. And let's say for whatever reason it happens to be wrong. And based on that wrong historical fact, and Quran confirms this wrong historical fact supposedly, right? Like let's say the crucifixion of Jesus or whatever, right? I believe in the Quran. I say, okay, look, this is in line with this. Therefore, this is external validation. It is evidence used for me to agree with the claim in the Quran that it's from God, right? Now, I'm still justified in believing that the Quran is from God, or that this piece of evidence supports that the Quran is from God, right? Even if that thing is wrong by itself, right? Once I found out that it's wrong, then I'm not justified in believing it's from God. Right, but right now, as I see it, you haven't shown me any historical fact that the Quran affirms that is against history, that is certain, that is against history, right? So I'm justified in believing in all the other ones that do support its claim. Does that make sense, my friend? It's not circular.
No, it doesn't
I'm
make.
not
Okay,
mud
so
here.
can I
I'm
actually?
not mud here, by
So,
the
sorry,
way.
Leafy.
You can ask unknown.
I know. If
No,
someone
I'm not
can
unbanning your
unban.
wife.
Uh,
No. We're not unbanning your wife.
All right, so I'll
She's
probably
staying
end
banned.
up. Okay, so Leafy, I'll basically answer that point then, and I'll leave the room there since this room's getting a bit hostile again. So to answer your point, so before I just so you know, I didn't actually get a chance to do anything. I just gave one source, and then people were jumping on top of me. But to answer your question, I'd just love to be able to do that first before we get into reading hearts and minds, which is only something that Allah can do. So keep in mind, everybody. John chapter 20 asked me a question. Would it require something happening to me? And I would say no, based on this reasoning. It said, Thomas answered him, my God, my Lord and my God. Jesus said to him, have you believed because on what you have seen? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. Right? So for me, I don't require to see miracles in front of me. I don't need to see the resurrection happening in front of me. I don't need to see a risen Christ happening in front of me for me to believe why it's happened. The reason why I believe it's happened is because of the law, the prophets, and the apostles. Now, if you do not
So
know
you
what
blind
that
follow.
means, let me tell you.
So you blind
Let me
follow.
finish. Let me finish. No, I don't. No, I don't, Leafy. That's
Really?
disingenuous to say. That would be
Really?
very disingenuous to say. Let me finish before you start trying
So
to
why do you
push back.
trust Paul? Why do you trust Paul?
Okay. Okay. Now you're moving on to a different topic. You're not letting me finish.
It's the same topic. I'll let you finish, but I'm just saying
You're not letting
saying
me
that
finish, though.
Okay,
You're not
go
letting
ahead.
me
I'll let you
finish,
finish.
though.
Go
What
ahead,
you're trying to
AdJ.
do is you're trying to divert it to a different conversation, which I would have to assume you don't have an answer for this. So when I'm establishing my belief, it's based off the law, the prophets, and the apostles. So if you do not know, the Bible is not just one book, it's a collection of 66 books with over 40 authors written over a time period of 1,200 years. So to be
I
saying
didn't know
that you're
that.
appealing to, well, a lot of people don't know that. So for
Thank you for
saying to
educating me.
appealing, so to be appealing to a say that it's a single source, well, the book of Mark and the book of Isaiah were written 700 years apart. I don't know too many people that live 700
By
years.
anonymous authors, right?
No.
Oh, so who wrote Mark?
We know who wrote Isaiah, so Mark is also written by Mark.
Wait,
We
how
know
many
just
people wrote
because
Isaiah? Was it one or three people?
Scholarship says 3.
this depends. It depends on what scholarship you're looking at, man.
So,
You
and do we
have
know who those three
Isaiah,
people are?
Leafy. We have Isaiah, and then we have Deutero-Isaiah. That's what they usually break it up into the two sections.
No, I
Generally, what
understand. I'm
they
just asking if you know who wrote
Leafy,
them. If you know those
No, they
names.
don't. Leafy, they don't have the names of the individual scribes. No,
So they're anonymous.
they don't. No, that's not how that works.
That is how that works.
Okay, how did you decide the canon though? Yeah, Leafy, person,
Oh,
he
guys,
says
This is
66
we don't
books,
know
right?
their name, but they're not
He says
anonymous, bro. We
66
don't
books.
know their name, but they're not
Wait,
anonymous, bro. We know them.
Yeah.
Well, no,
So,
wait.
Leafy,
Yeah, go ahead.
can I tell you how we know? Like, can I tell you something which a lot of people make a mistake in? So,
Yeah, go
something
ahead.
which is anonymous doesn't mean unknown authorship. Those are two different categories. Unfortunately,
with you. I
great,
agree with you.
thank
So
you.
anonymous. Yeah, so let me explain. Yeah, sorry.
Unfortunately,
Let me just make sure we're on the same page.
Leafy,
Wait, just wait.
Leafy. Okay.
No,
Well,
AdJ,
as long as we're
I'm
trying to get
just
to the
gonna
same
give you. We're
page.
on the
Okay.
same page. We're trying to get to the same page, bro. So anonymous means that the person didn't sign it, right? So that means it's
Yep.
anonymous, right?
No autograph.
Unknown means we don't know who wrote it, right? So two separate
Yes.
things. So
Two
right,
separate
so
things. Okay.
right, exactly. Now I'm saying that the Gospel of Mark is not only anonymous, which we both agree, because no one signs it, Mark, right? It is also unknown. You would disagree with me supposedly, so I'd like to know why you think, or who do you think wrote Mark, and why you think that they wrote Mark. And
Okay.
if you do, I'd like you to convince me of that and to provide references, if that's okay.
Yep, sure. Because you're trusting Saint Irenaeus for information about the Ebionites, the Docetists, all these type of
No,
things, right?
it's an internal critique. He's not.
Okay,
He's
so
not.
so you're not. Okay, so I'll ask you now. So you're not relying on Saint Irenaeus for accurate
the
information
author.
about the.
No. The church fathers. The church fathers are not an authority for me. They're an authority for you.
They're
So
not
if
an
you quote them
authority
to
for
me, I'll
me.
throw them in the bin. Give me historical
Leafy, they're
sources that
not
are
an
not
authority
biased.
for me.
Right, my friend. Church fathers aren't authorities for you.
No,
Oh, that's a new thing for me, bro. I thought church
I
fathers
Yeah,
were
he's a
never.
authorities.
Yeah.
Protestant, bro. He's a
So
Protestant.
just
You're
because I'm a
Protestant. I forgot.
no. This is something I even have to remind Eastern Orthodox and Roman Catholics for, because a popular early church bishop, which is then esteemed to the position of father, unless there is a particular institution within the church on which they have, like say a bishop or something like that, doesn't mean that they have authority over others. They can give their opinion, but the reason why they are early church fathers is not scripture, is because it's not divinely inspired. So
Wait. So if
those
he's not an
words,
authority for you, why would he
I
be an
haven't finished,
authority for
man. I
me?
haven't, man. You really like eating half-baked food. Like you need to just be quiet for a little bit and please let me finish. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
bro,
so
letting
the
you
yo,
early
finish.
Leafy,
church
bro,
the
Leafy,
early
you need to
church
eat all
fathers.
big.
This is getting really frustrating. You
Now,
really
guys,
have a bad
let him
understanding
monologue,
of this.
guys. Let him monologue. Go ahead, AdJ.
I'm not trying to monologue, man. I'm just trying to get this point out to you. So the early church fathers are not authoritative, but they're for wisdom.
Great, got that point. Now, if they're not an authority for you, my question is, why would they be an authority for me?
That's not the point that I'm trying to use here. This
That
is a
is the
red
point.
herring.
You're
And
trying to quote them as an
Leafy,
authority. So why, if they're an authority
stop.
for you, why would they be an
Leafy,
authority for me?
Leafy, that's not what's happening here. Can you please stop and try to argue this minute point, please? All right, it's your source. You're the one who's using him as a source of information, right?
When
So
did I
if
use him?
that's what I'm saying. In regards to this whole position, if you're trying to say that the Ebionites and the Docetists are the original Muslims, where do we get this information? Where do we get information from about them?
No one said those tests for Muslims. Ebionites held to pure monotheism.
See,
They held
you're
to
first of all, you're strawmanning our position. Second of all, if we use an internal critique, that's fine.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
allowed
That's
to pick
fine.
and
So you're
choose
not
from
doing
them.
that.
That's fine. No. So my friend, as a forget that I'm Muslim. Let's put my biases to the
Cool.
side.
All
Right?
right.
Let's
Cool.
pretend.
All right.
Let's pretend I'm Western
Then
Orientalist.
you can stop
right?
now. All right. So I won't appeal that way. I was just trying to help you understand something else. All right. Because Saint Irenaeus of Lyons talks about it in his book Against Heresies. So he writes on regards to who those people are. It's consistent throughout all the rest of the Roman world. There's another factor of it as well, is that Mark and Luke are second generation Christians. They're not the most popular Christians. They're not the most famous Christians. They're not even the most authoritative Christians. So that we know from the internal tradition that Luke wasn't a traveling companion of Paul, and Mark was a interpreter of Peter. So we also have very good evidence to believe that these are written by Matthew and Luke, is because there is no there's been no trying to sort of redact the authorship and then try to promote it to a more popular author, especially during the Gnostic period in which we're talking about. So which was very, very popular at the time during the Gnostics, was to attribute very, very famous apostles to the particular text to be able to get it to spread further. But what we have with Mark and Luke is we have an actual honest declaration on who wrote these things. They're not trying to fabricate or embellish a person of a seniority within the faith just to get it to have more reach. The other form of evidence in there as well is the internal consistency of the Gospels across the Christian world. So
Because
if
they
they
copied each other.
no, you're jumping to assumptions again, Leafy. There's a lot of things you're wrong about. I hope you start to listen more. So the other thing which
Just
we
give me
also
one.
know, I've just given you a few. Incredulity is
No,
a
which
thing, my
one?
friend. Incredulity is a
Which
thing.
one? I never said it
Incredulity is.
wasn't. When did I say it
Leafy,
wasn't?
why? Leafy, please stop, man. You're being argumentative. Just let me finish,
I
okay? And then you
am,
can
but
say,
that's the point of this discussion, bro.
no. The thing is, this is just childish. Just let me finish.
Okay.
You don't need to talk at all. Thank you. And the other strong form of evidence is the fact that there is no competing tradition over the authorship. So within, say, Protestantism, Eastern Orthodoxy, Roman Catholicism, when you're talking to Christians, you don't hear one saying, don't listen to him. That's called the Gospel of James. It's not called the Gospel of John. We're uniform across the board. So what we can also safely say is from the earliest time that these Gospels were attributed to the authorship, based under the assumption also that they weren't trying to embellish names, that they were truthfully giving it to them, that there's been no confusion, and this thing has gone from all around the world,
This
and
is
even
such a bad
Christians
argument, bro.
centuries later
Such a
on
bad argument.
still don't have confusion around who are the authorship of the Gospels.
So because the earliest Christians didn't think, hey, why is this the Gospel of John? How do I actually know it's the Gospel of John? Just because they took someone's word for it that it's the Gospel of John, I should take their word for it that it's the Gospel of John. That's what you're telling me. First of all, my question to you,
That's
bro,
not
is
what
not
I
about
said.
one second, bro. It's not
That's not
about
what I said, Leafy.
Matthew. Bro, one second. Just because
Sorry, I'm
I'm
going to
not
ask
asking
again. Do you
about,
guys mind letting Lady Genesis unbanned? Otherwise, I'm going to jump out of this room and we
bro,
can
we
begin.
already answered this question. No.
I'm just asking generally,
Mark,
not just you, just someone else.
yeah, and I'm answering on their behalf
even then,
because I asked them.
Wait, did she
Okay,
blast
even
him
then,
or
there's
I'm
no
not
something?
way.
going to jump rooms, but no, thank you for having me. It was good. We had a much better conversation.
Did she
No problem,
blaspheme?
bro.
Why did she get banned?
I said,
If you
are you gonna
unban her,
address?
I'll stay in the room. But if you guys don't unban her for whatever reason,
We,
she's
we,
not going to
we
do
have no
anything.
way. We have no way of unbanning her. The original room owner isn't here, but
All right,
she
well,
has
I'm
a
jumping out.
lot
If
of.
you guys want to make another room, that's fine.
Sounds good.
You don't understand, and he's not gonna survive without his wife, or what?
I don't have to lie.
They live right
This is
next to each other. Like, can't she just go and sit next to him? Like, what?
Yeah,
yeah, but
that's
like
what
this
I've been
is a
wondering.
Discord room.
We
No, this is
know who wears the pants.